All right, local swell tracker Saturday, March 19th. Tomorrow is officially the first day of spring. We're doing a little hindcasting going back Tuesday the 15th. This guy off here by Japan and the Kurils is the guy that is bringing us our new long period west-northwest to northwest swell. The period forerunners were 20 seconds because there were some near hurricane force winds in that puppy as it broke up here within a day or so and tracked up northeast into up by Kamchatka and the western Aleutians. And then, of course, right at that time, a closer proximity storm to our northeast sent some fetch for late last work week and kind of spun in place there. Now, we were thinking that some of these waves could reach 25 to 30 foot faces or 15, maybe even near 18 feet. Well, some of the seas did get that big, and if there was an island there, we would have seen waves that big, but the fetch pointed a little bit more than we thought off to the northeast of us. So we did see some 10-foot north-northeast swell, but not near as big. This guy got in here Saturday and will last the west-northwester through Sunday and Monday. That'll probably get up to about 8 feet, 6 feet of swell, 16 to 18 seconds of a period in it, and it'll be overlapping with this culprit right here that sent us in plenty of energy. Now we got a little spinner off here approaching the date line here coming up this weekend as well. We're not going to get much really from that guy, but we will get some short interval 12-second northwest swell to west-northwest swell, and that's slated for about Wednesday, Thursday, and we're going to have to wait and see. We may see some 6-foot surf out of this, but again, the periods are short because you can see the winds are sub-gale here starting in the animation. One more time, we're just going to run through the retroactive loop. So there's the culprit for the west-northwest. Here's the culprit for all this north swell that's been lasting a long time here for us. And then we get this guy off here for a west-northwest Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we could see some, hopefully some 6-footers out of it, but probably some west-northwest, minimum 4 feet. Let's claim that. So now storm surface winds. There's the guy. You can see how that fetch is really passing us off to the northeast, a much more visible there. And actually the fetch did point to us, but just for such a brief time on this large scale low here, finding its way up into the Gulf. And here's this system I was showing you. So I wanted to get to current surface winds. You can see how that thing meanders and kind of breaks up. It's nothing special. We'll see some north swell for this situation right here. These are Tuesday's models. We could see something about Friday, Saturday, Sunday from that, and that could be a solid 8 feet. And then, as you can tell, very quiet out here on the northwest side. But as we start in the animations, we're not quite done. We get a couple little subgale spinners, nothing significant. But at the very end, you can see a very broad sweeping low. And this is Sunday, a week from this weekend. And the winds aren't that strong, but it is broad enough. It is super long range. But we should see something Tuesday on this, and we could see some 10-foot surf. We'll wait and see as we get closer to it. Check Surf News Network, of course, always for the 5, and then premiums get 10-day forecasts. Okay, here we go. Looking at today's Saturday, these are the actual sea heights now produced by the surface winds we were looking at. There's the beauty here, moving off towards the Gulf. There's this subgale pressure, low pressure off of here that doesn't have a very organized track. We'll still see some waves midweek next week and a little north-northwest fall from this guy. Very small stuff until the very, very end where we see that very broad system right here that just starts to show on these 7-day model loops. Again, you can mark your calendars for about 29th, and hopefully we're going to see some, at least advisory levels, potentially up to 10. So that's the North Pack. Now a quick gander at what we're seeing down under as it gets more active as we reach springtime. Okay, this is going back Friday the 11th. There's that fetch that brought us up some 3-foot waves for Friday and Saturday. It was short-lived. That fetch didn't last too long. As you can see, it fades out really quick. And a lot of this is the southern branch is most dominant, and it's very zonal or west to east. And we need them to track up towards us with what they call meridional flows. So you have more of those troughs and dips in the jet flow. In the large-scale upper air currents, we call the jet. It supports the formation of storms and steers them once they are born. So under American Samoa right here, we get a little bit of a spinner for a while. We see some energy adding support to this current swell from this guy. Nothing special, but just keeping it maybe chest high at the most. This, again, our hindcasting. We watch some more meridional flows, but this big spinner here that's going counterclockwise, that's a high pressure. We see a storm in the Tasman Sea. That is projected to give us some long period swell, but not much in the way of swell height because the swell gets cheese grated by all the South Pacific islands over here like Fiji and Samoa. Now bringing us current, you see there's really not a whole lot going on, and all these storms sending off some big stuff off to Chile. There are some guys way down by the Ross Ice Shelf that'll keep us from going Mill Pond flat, but again, none of them are tracking properly. One last loop, there's stuff going on. Now we just need a direction change. All right, here's the jet streams. We have two branches. The blues are the high pressure areas. You can see more and more of those as we head towards the new season. A lot more gusty trades, which is the pattern we're in right now. But there is another front moving down Monday night into Tuesday. The front is expected to stall and bring a lot of moisture embedded in the wind flows and southerly winds. Yeah, we are in a pattern change coming up here in a couple days. But for now, these high pressures are keeping our trades fairly fresh. So the southern branch starting to get going here. Just a little bit off of Japan. The big blues end up dominating the whole East Pac. The jet flows move our side of the date line and is tracking some of those weak storms that I was showing you about. And then here in the long range, we get some hope here about a week out from today, Saturday the 26th. The jet is a little further north. It is slightly tilted east-northeast. Hopefully we'll see something come out of that. And again, that long-range system I was showing you here, this is helping influence that formation of that big low that'll be spinning right about here in about 7 days. Okay, and those good old hand-drawn surface charts, there's the high pressure keeping the trade winds. It's about a 1024 millibar high. Nothing special, but it is moving in the right direction. And thanks to the pressure gradient with the low that's bringing in us our big swells, we've had those trades elevated, and we've had some weather. But all in all, the atmosphere is fairly stable, much drier than you would think. Here comes that low and that associated front for Monday night, tracking in from the extreme west and heading towards the 180 date line, about 1,200 miles off to our west here. Jumping up to the water vapor loops, the brown regions are showing a dry, sinking, stable air mass designating high pressure. The intertropical convergence zone will stay put down here. The front associated with these colors you see here are moving over our way. The low has yet to enter this picture, but this is why you can tell today was pretty dry, and most of these showers were confined to the windward Mauka regions, just in a few embedded showers there. Here's another look at the more now east-northeasterly flow to those winds, and you can see pretty high wind. The cloud structure, when it gets broken up into little bits like that, show that it's high winds there at the surface, thus the north swell. And I was showing you the intertropical convergence zone, the whiter showing the higher level clouds and the low level going along straight to the west. There comes the front, moving our way from that system that's outside of our view. Drilling down, I'll tell you highs are going to be about 80, lows in the about 69. And again, off and on clouds, but all in all fairly dry. Here's the reflective loops. There are some spatterings of windward and Mauka clouds, a few spillovers for Maui and Lanai, but not for Kauai or Oahu, really. One more look at the systems, just clipping Hawaii with sideband swell. Here's that new low off here that'll be bringing us our front Tuesday, Wednesday, and stalling. The clockwise spinning high pressure here to our north. And there's the high pressure going the opposite direction, south of the equator here. And a lot of activity far, far south by the Ross Ice Shelf. And that's your local swell tracker for this Saturday. I'll be back next weekend. Thanks so much for spending time with me. Have a great rest of the weekend and week ahead. Aloha.